Okay, we are recording, and it is my privilege and pleasure to welcome Bara Sapir. She has lots of different letters after her name: MACHT, CNLP, MBSR-T, high performance and personal empowerment coach. So she's going to share tonight. Her talk is entitled Holistic Mindful Techniques for Uncertain Times. And as we know, COVID-19 defines a transition point in our lives. It's a time of profound crisis and change, and the largest we have faced collectively. It also presents an opportunity for us individually to look inward at our thought patterns, beliefs, actions, and behaviors. We can take inventory on what will support us as we move through this uncertainty and even upgrade for a better version of our future selves. In this experiential workshop, you're in for a treat. We will learn methods to embody our greatest sense of well-being as we navigate internal and external challenges. So a little bit about Bara. Bara is the CEO of City Test Prep, whose tutoring combines holistic and mindful modalities with academic study. And in this work, Bara draws from coaching, mindfulness, creative exercises, and mindset tools to dispel self-limiting beliefs, emotionally regulate, and live in the present moment. Good reminders, all especially useful during COVID-19 and beyond. Please help me welcome Bara Sapir. Yay.
Great. Thank you so much for a great introduction.
Thank you, Bara. I'm going to mute everyone. And in fact, then you can unmute yourself, okay? I'm muting everyone.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. And now I just need to be able to now I need to be able to share the screen.
There you go.
Okay. Okay, how does that look?
Great.
Awesome, great. So this is taken from a longer program, but I winnowed it down so that we can all experience some tools as we're dealing with our crazy, interesting, inviting new reality. I use the term inviting because we can approach things in various ways. We can approach them as a sort of a closed mindset and be really defeated and have a really negative or just a dead end attitude towards things, or we can look at things as an opportunity for growth and change. So I wanted this presentation to be a way to invite growth and change. So we're facing a new normal. This is my intention for all of us, and we can take simple steps to protect ourselves, our loved ones, and those around us. We can start on the inside and explore where we are right now in this moment. Today, we can begin to create a personal new normal. Each and every day, we can call into being what we need and desire with authenticity, integrity. We invite a better version of ourselves and a better world for everyone. And to start that, I want to invite everyone to go to mentee.com, www.menti.com. And when you get there, it will ask for a code. And so plug in the code that you see there, 68759. So I can't see everyone at once, I don't think, but how are we doing? Does everyone have that? So go to mentee.com or www.mentee.com and put in 68759. Every slide, you'll see those numbers that you'll need to put it in. Okay, so I want to start with asking everyone what issues you're struggling with during COVID-19, and you're going to have 3 that you can choose from. And this will allow us to move through and just see where we're all at.
I didn't get, oh, it's at the top there, sorry. I didn't get, sorry.
So as you go onto the site, everyone just type in exactly what things that you are experiencing. And again, I haven't used this in a little while. So here we go. We're able to see productivity has taken the lead with stress and focus second. Okay, interesting. Isolation has not, I haven't put mine in. I would be in isolation. But notice how it's shifting, and we can just see in our group, we're not alone in each of these different pieces. And for those of you who do give presentations, this is a really wonderful tool to use. We'll be doing a couple of other exercises with it. Okay, great. So we have seven people who have answered so far. 9. Great. And there's a few people I think who are not on here, so this might be it. So pretty interesting. If you notice, there is a nice, it's a pretty consistent line going down, and most of us are having trouble with focus, which is not a surprise. We will be doing things today that deal with focus, and productivity is the second one. So just know that you're in good company, that most people here are feeling the things that you're feeling. Now, when I turn the slide, it's going to go, I don't think you're going to get the next one until we actually get to the next quiz here, but you'll see. So I just want to invite everyone right now to just be here now. Just know we've taken this time to be with the women of New of Marin. We've taken this time for ourselves. We see each other once a month typically, and to just be in this moment and appreciate what it is that it has to offer. What does a tennis ball have to do with how we deal with a global pandemic? So in 1978, Timothy Gallwey wrote a book called The Inner Game of Tennis. You might have heard of it. In that book, it was groundbreaking in that he talked about the inner game and the outer game. The inner game of tennis has to do with who we are when we go onto the field, how we're feeling, how we think about the opponent, if we're thinking about things off the court. The outer game is what's happening all the time. So when we think about this pandemic, we know that there's rules, regulations. We also have other things happening like an election. We have fires to contend with, heat waves. It's really of biblical proportion at this point. And we really have an outer game that's really testing us on all different levels. We can't control that, but what we can control is the inner game. What we can control is the being here now and how we want to approach it. Do we want a closed mindset where we can just resign ourselves? Or do we want a positive growth mindset where we want to say, wow, this is super interesting. This is super curious. What do I do during a pandemic and heat wave and smoke coming into my midst, right? So what do you do with that inner game? And we're going to be working on the inner game today. So the first technique I want to teach you comes from Heart Math, and it's a breathing technique that helps people to ground and be in the moment. And the way that this is done is that wherever you are, look in front of you to a point on the wall, a point in front of you. It does not have to be an actual spot. It could be a picture. It could be some point of reference. And you want to focus it and put your hand over your heart. You could put 2 hands over your heart and start breathing. Super simple. You start breathing and you focus in on that point, and then imagine you're breathing from your heart. Imagine you're breathing from this heart place to that point. And we're just going to do this for a minute. But notice how your body starts to settle in and drop down. Now, the nice thing about this is you can do it anywhere. You can do it if you're online. You can do it at home. My students do this when they're in the test and they're about to start. It's a way to just settle in and have an embodied experience of the breath. And it's so simple. It's just the heart that's breathing to the point that's in front of you. And it allows you to just be grounded and here and now. Okay. So you get to take that with you. It's a takeaway. The next technique that I use with clients is something out of University of Chicago, Sian Bielak, who is now currently the president of Barnard, and she wrote a book called Choke. And the research that she did talked about when we're ever in any sort of anxious activity or an activity that's inspiring anxiety or inspiring us getting out of our own body. And if we want to get into our own body, one way of doing it is to just write down what's happening for you and to get into a practice of doing this. So I borrowed a Natalie Goldberg copy of her, a title of her book, Writing Down the Bones. But I feel like this is similar also to the artist way of the writing pages in the morning pages. And what's lovely about this is it just puts you in a place of just giving yourself 10 seconds, 10 minutes, a half an hour to just write down what's actually happening. And they found that this really diffused people's anxiety. So for example, you can write a note to yourself. Dear me, it's pandemic 2020. It may go on for a while. For me, this means I'm taking time to, I'm feeling. So I can send this to everyone. I can send this slide to folks, but this is a lovely activity to be in the place of writing down what's really going on for you during the pandemic and what's going on for you really with anything. For those of you who have things that are coming up or presentations, it just allows a written meditation to work through it. And the third technique that I wanted to share was how to stop panic attacks. And this comes from NLP. For those of you who know NLP, it's called the backward spin. So if you notice, I don't know if this happens to you, but sometimes I'll watch the news and all of a sudden I have this surge of energy, not believing what I'm hearing and feeling a little bit out of sorts. And that energy that's moving for me usually comes up my body and it usually like hits me. It's almost like it hits a dead end somewhere around my throat. And then it will repeat a couple of times. And if you can capture the movement of that, so it moves in usually it's somewhat of a circular motion. So if you can imagine that you're having some kind of a panic attack, or if this has ever happened to you, you take it out of your body about the size of a basketball, and everyone can just imagine this, right? Imagine, and then you push it in the other direction, and you can close your eyes and you can move your hands and you can move that energy in the opposite direction, moving faster. And as you're moving it and you can close your eyes, you imagine a time when you had really inappropriate laughter and you couldn't help yourself, but you were laughing. It certainly happened to me. And you throw that in the mix and you have it spinning backwards. And then you imagine someone that you love and you throw that person or that thing into the mix. And then you imagine a place where you feel super comfortable, super confident. And just imagine yourself there for a moment. It could be the woods, the beach, your bed, your home. Throw that in the mix. And then you put all of that back into you. Take a deep breath. And that is a way to stop a panic attack. So how are you feeling now? We just did 3 very abbreviated exercises, but 3 that are potent. And at least introduced to one of them, the writing exercise. But what is next for you? How are you feeling in this moment, generally and specifically? And you can go back to Mentimeter and you can just type in, and we're going to see a wall. We're going to see, I believe this is going to be a cloud. And we're going to see what people are going through. Inspired and uplifted. Chill. relaxed and sad. Stronger, more connected than ever, mellow, more relaxed. I can handle this, grateful, centered and peaceful, inspired, steady, sad, calm, giving myself grace, ready. Okay, appreciation. So notice what I'm seeing here is there's a lot of relaxed and chill and graceful, and there's some sadness. I mean, there's understandably all of those things can coexist. Happy that there's others in the situation, that we can support each other, appreciation, gratitude. Okay, I'm going to go to the next piece. So some of you may be familiar with the life wheel, and I like to use this with myself and also with people that I'm working with to allow them to just be aware, to choreograph what their feelings are about where they feel they're at and where they want to go. So here, in the center, you can think of that as like a low vibration or a low number, and the outside can be full and abundant. And again, I can send this to anyone, and you can chart what does your life look like in this moment. And obviously this always changes, but let's say your creativity is in the middle, but you want it to be greater. Well, seeing it all choreographed and in relationship to each other, each of these different pieces, you can decide where you want to put your energy and where you want, especially now. I know that I'm busier than ever, but it's not specifically, I'm not exactly sure why that's the case, but I am also more creative now than I typically am, and I'm being incredibly productive. I think that my go-to is to be productive. That's how one of the ways that I'm coping. And so my volunteerism is low, but that's about to spike because I'm going to start making phone calls very soon, right? So it's being able to see where one is and where one wants to go. So these are just a few resources. I mentioned one earlier, the SIP Ingalls group, but we also have a group called the Science of Well-Being Friends Group. Christina's part of that. And this particular group has different folks in there who also talk about different events and different classes. We've been doing a class, I want to say for the past 4 or 5 months, where we pick a class, we get together and then talk about that class. We've done them through Udemy. We've done them through Coursera. Mostly, we just finished one on neuroplasticity. We've done them on different ways, like the happiness course out of Yale. So if you want to become a member of the Facebook group, you could decide whether you want to be part of the smaller group, and it's focused on actually discussing the coursework and becoming friends with folks. We meet once a week. There's also a mindfulness scale if you want to gauge where you are on that scale. And also if anyone is interested in a free consultation with the work that I do, which is not specifically just for students, it's dealing with life coaching, anxiety relief, you can set up a strategy session this way. And I want to thank the group for being with me tonight. It was great to be able to present a little bit about what I do. And I'm open to any questions that folks have.
Awesome. Go ahead and we'll keep recording. but just unmute yourself if you have a question. Go, Wendy.
Oh, okay. First, I want to thank you, Bara. That was awesome. Did a great job, really informative and great exercises. So I really appreciate it. I have just a specific question about this backward spin. Mm-hmm. So if you've got stuff going and some of it is negative and you don't want to keep it, then you still would bring it back in. I do different types of similar exercises, and usually if something's not serving the person, then there's an opportunity to release it. But anyway, so yeah.
It's a little bit similar to a pattern interrupt, if you're familiar with that idea. So that if it's moving in a certain direction, then you're pushing it in the other direction, and you're wanting to infuse it with this disruption. So you're infusing it with a positive or a funny experience. So those 3 experiences: a time when you felt really inappropriate laughter, because that usually like cuts through things immediately. And then I reinforce it with thinking of someone you love, and then reinforce it with a place where you feel confident and comfortable, and you put it back in, but it's already been twisted in the backwards way. So it moves you, you're putting it back in, but it's changed.
Okay, interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't come up with that. This is more of
NLP.
This is an NLP technique that I've tweaked a little bit.
Yeah, cool.
Any other questions?
You guys look calm and mellow right now, I have to say.
Lori, did you have a question, honey? Yeah, go for it.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, I didn't have a question. I did think it was really relaxing. And now I know why all the people used to stand up and say that your workshops were so wonderful. Mm. Now I know the secret. Thank you.
You're welcome. A slice of the secret.
Yeah,
Go
right.
ahead. Go ahead, Shannon.
So I don't have a question, but I just have a comment of appreciation for having that visual of the life wheel was really helpful for me, because just knowing, sometimes I feel like I need to be everywhere at once, and having it there visually, I would like to get a copy of that. I think that would be really helpful for me.
Yeah. If anyone, I don't know the easiest way to send it, but I can definitely get a recording of the backward spin. I believe I have a recording of the backward spin, and I have the image of the life wheel and a write-up of writing. I have backup information because it's all in my book, right? All of these techniques are in my book. So.
I thought you did a wonderful backward spin. I mean, I actually I wasn't really familiar with that concept, but it would be hard to beat the explanation any other way, but to see you actually do that. So that was great. And that's something that I would like to kind of refer back to in the recording.
I have a recording and a write-up of how to do it. And it just takes, the nice thing about it is you can do it right in the instant, right? You're feeling that surge of panic, and then you have a tool to deal with it immediately. So you don't have to sit with it and let it simmer. You know, like when you notice that something is shifting in a way that you don't want, it's a way to shift it.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Any other questions? One more? No? Okay.
I was just going to suggest you put some links in the chat, like for your book, for example.
I will put a link to my book, which is on Amazon, and I'm also finishing up another book which has even more exercises and does not have a test. It's not that specific, and Val has been helping me with that, and it will be ready as an ebook. So I'll put the book, and I also have an audio series which has a lot of these techniques. It's 5.5 hours, and yeah, I'll put the links in chat after we're finished with this segment.
Awesome.
Hey, Bara, I've just Googled life wheel, and everybody's got their own version of it.
They do.
Yeah, Yeah.
It will be familiar to some coaches because it's something that's been around, and it's based on, I mean, you can even think of it as based on a mandala of sorts, and that you want something to be balanced in a way, right? And
Yeah.
so when you see that the lines that you put, because you can actually, you can put joy one place and then intimacy another place, and it winds up creating something that might be balanced or imbalanced. And then you decide how you want to balance it out or not.
Yeah.
So,
I've always thought about, I always know you have to balance it out. I always think of it like this. I've never thought of it as a pie chart, but I'm always thinking about this that way, but I've never thought of it that way. Yeah. So, yeah.
Very cool. Well, Bara, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I think everyone can, if we just all go like this.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you.
Excellent. I am going to cut recording now, and people know how to find you. Certainly, if you're watching this, and you can go to newofmarin.com, and Bara is one of our fabulous members, Bara Sapir. So thank you again.
Thank you.